Is being full of yourself a good thing?
All right, well, I can tell by your cheers. All right, so listen, let's just run down a few things. 25 seasons of the Oprah Winfrey Show, which was distributed to over 100 countries. Oprah's Book Club, 70 original selections, which helped sell over 55 million books. Okay, then there's the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls, founded in South Africa, which has helped tons of young women who are underprivileged go on to university and college and get their education and live full lives that they wouldn't have had an opportunity. Not to mention all of the philanthropy work that she's done, where she's donated hundreds of millions of dollars. If this is your resume, baby, you are allowed to be full of yourself. But I think the term full of yourself kind of makes people recoil because, let's be real, in most societies, in most cultures, when a woman is great, she's supposed to be great, but she's supposed to be humble about it. She's supposed to be quiet about it. And I think whenever you hear a woman who is successful kind of own it, everybody's like, oh gosh, she's so full of herself. And it's like, why can't we celebrate, much like our male counterparts who celebrate their smallest wins? You guys are always celebrating everything. Why is it such a problem? I think it speaks to a larger problem in our society about how we feel about women celebrating their greatness.
But has anyone, besides Oprah, has anyone ever met someone who's full of themselves? Yeah. And I have as well. And I would never want to be perceived that way. Because when you meet someone, like regardless of gender, I've met women, I've met men, and when you have that experience, usually you clock the experience because you can't get a word in. Because they don't listen and they don't stop talking.
But is that full of yourself or is that obnoxious?
I'm going with full of yourself because I think we can get into the nitty-gritty, into the weeds of the semantics, but I think when you meet someone and your immediate thought is, oh, this person is full of themselves, it's a gut reaction. And so that's the kind of reaction I'm basing this on, and I would never want to be perceived that way because I've experienced it, you know?
Yeah. I'm the same. And I think it is a bit of a semantic debate because I think that what we do want is confidence. And I think confidence, though, our favorite kinds, for me, is the quiet confidence. People who they show up, they know their own resume, and
that kind of speaks to what I was talking about. Where it's like, you're supposed to be great, but you have to be quiet about it.
But I guess I like it in people. When somebody comes in, like we've had this with celebrities, men or women. We've had this with celebrities who come on here, and usually, I'm just gonna say it out loud, the middle-level celebrity comes in a lot of times with a lot of full of themselves energy.
Look at her.
I was gonna say, they're not very kind, they're not very nice, they're kind of like, they roll deep, they have a big crew, whatever. And it's the very high-level celebrities who have this quiet confidence, and they're still able to connect with other people. So I think there is a distinction to be made between what I perceive as full of yourself. It's closer to narcissism, and it's closer to, it's trying to prove something that doesn't necessarily, maybe if you've got a resume like
self-awareness,
this is a very personal story for me, and I'll share that in just a second, but there is a saying that insecurity screams and confidence whispers. Okay? So now that distinction is really interesting because this story is very personal to me. They always say don't read the comments, but when we started The Social, that's all I would do. And it was not a lot of people, but all it takes is a few people, and people would write all the time in the comments on Instagram, and guess what? We read them. And we're human, and people would constantly say, Melissa is so full of herself. And I got that for years on this show. I got that for about 10 years on this show, okay? And I don't know who you are and all of those things, but it hit me so hard because I was like, I don't want to be perceived that way. And what am I doing that is giving off that energy? And just like a breakup, even if it's 95% one person, there is 5% that's yours. So I have for the last 14 years been asking myself, what is my part in this? And I think my part is that I've been able to own, first of all, some people are horrible on Instagram, so that's yours. That part is yours, but what is it about me that I'm putting out there? And I had to get very real. And there was the part of insecurity was screaming, and my confidence wasn't there. In fact, it was the opposite. What you were seeing was someone who was deeply insecure and trying to prove something without a solid base. I have never been more successful in my life, and I've gotten quieter about it, okay? In some ways. Do I celebrate my wins? I've got a #1 podcast. I had a successful kids' clothing line. Somebody wants me to write a book. There's all these things happening that are so successful, but the difference is I'm doing it for me. I'm not doing it for you anymore. Now, so the takeaway for me in all of this is authenticity. I've been performing a lot on this show and losing sight of who I am and what actually matters to me. So I don't see those comments anymore. And that doesn't mean people don't still think it, and you're free to think what you want. But I think for me is I am so happy in everything that I do. I'm so happy that I get to be here on this show and talk to you. That's hopefully what comes across.
Thank you for watching. If you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. For bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook.